Why, hello everybody, it's Randy Andy here, and today I wanted to review Attack on Titan Season 2. Now, we all know how epic the first season was, and that made me read the manga at least up to a certain point because I got impatient with how long it was taking to get Season 2 into production. So I kind of knew everything that was going to happen in this season, but regardless, it was a field train, it was a slew of emotions that happened in this season for me, and admittedly there was something that happened in this season that I forgot happened in the manga, which is funny because it's actually very important to me, but I forgot that it happened anyway. Now, as always, the performances were good. It is anime, so it is a little overacted, but that's kind of the point of anime at times, so it was okay. But I got really annoyed with the overacting at times. It kind of ruined certain scenes for me, which usually overacting in anime hasn't really ever done that, but in some scenes it did, and it was weird. You know, I think it was mostly just when it was characters that were doing things I didn't like, and that was overacted, that it like just amplified how annoyed I was at them. But in general, the performances were amazing, as they always are in Attack on Titan. And honestly, I think that's best highlighted with Reiner in this season. The person who plays Reiner gives a really compelling performance of, you know, he's struggling to come to terms with what he's doing, because for all that time that he was pretending to be a soldier, he started to believe he was one, and all those acts of camaraderie and bravery that he did weren't faked, in the sense that he really believed in what he was doing to a degree. And then as soon as he realized, you know, it's time to let this fantasy go and to go back to what matters to him, at least, he had this whole emotional battle with himself, and he was kind of tearing himself apart mentally. And the person who did the voice acting for that did a really good job of conveying that sort of mental trauma that he went through. And in an instant, Reiner goes from being, you know, the stable, brave rock that you sort of look up to being just, you know, completely shattered and broken into pieces. And the only reason he did those things was A, to deceive people, and B, because of how insecure he actually is with himself. And that's a really interesting plot point that I love. But before I go any further on the story, obviously the animation matters, since this is an anime and animation is a main part of that. Now, a lot of people complain that this was only 12 episodes. Now, yes, it is disappointing, but I think it makes sense, considering right now in Japan there's a shortage of animators because the companies are paying animators scraps of what they should be paid. It is hard to live off being an animator these days in Japan. So for them to deliver the animation quality that they did this season, with the amount of animators that are currently working in the field, it just wouldn't work. It's unrealistic. So that's unfortunately the way it is. 25 episodes would have been great, but 12 episodes is what we needed to get the top tier animation that we got. And honestly, I mean it when I say that, because the animation in this felt like I was watching an anime movie, not just a series. The outlines of characters were well defined, facial expressions were done well, action was mind-blowingly awesome, and the camera angles were great. Yes, it's a virtual camera, but whatever. The animation was fluid, and it was just everything you could have asked for in the animation department. Sure, the Colossal Titan was CGI, but they had to cut down on some costs. And the Colossal Titan, you hardly see him, and he's pretty meh. He's just there to swipe things and destroy things. That's all he really is there for, and the CGI wasn't bad on him, I guess. It still looked sort of animated, it still looked sort of drawn, so you can't really complain there, especially with how little animators there are compared to what Japan needs, or what the anime industry needs. And I really think the way the animation was done, just like in Season 1, it really amplifies the story. For example, when Eren fought the Armored Titan, if the animation wasn't as good as it was in there, if you couldn't see the facial expressions as well, if the camera angles weren't done as well, if lines weren't as well defined, and if just general character movement wasn't as good as it was, then I feel like a lot of the emotion would have been lost. Obviously, the music was top tier, and that helped a lot too, but the animation honestly conveyed a lot of emotion in this. Now, on that, Eren fighting the Armored Titan, or Reiner, was so great because it was the best blend of emotion, overcoming a struggle, and just amazing flippin' choreography. And as far as I know, they used actual MMA moves. I could be wrong on that, but I read somewhere that that's what happened, and that is just awesome to me on a completely different level. And the action was visceral as hell when Eren's got him in that headlock, and he's just trying to rip off his head. That was intense as hell. I loved it, and I think everyone loved it. That was one of the highlights of it. Just the execution with the music and everything was great, just like it's been for pretty much the whole of Season 2 in this anime. Season 1 beats it, I will say that, but not in everything. That fight is better than anything I saw in Season 1, I think. Besides maybe Levi cutting up Annie, that was probably the best thing that's ever happened in Attack on Titan ever. One thing I will say that was kind of odd, and that brings the score down on this season a little bit, is one bit with Hannes, which was a great scene, don't get me wrong, where, you know, they're reflecting back on the past, and Hannes is like, or Hannes, I don't know how the hell you say it, he's basically saying how they need to not give up and get Eren. And then at the end, Mikasa, Armin, and I can't remember if Hannes does it or not, they start eating those rations like freaking weirdly. I don't even want to reenact. It was just, they were so aggressive about it, and it was just weird. Like, I know anime overacts things at times, and sometimes that's even a bit of the appeal. But here, it was just straight up weird. Anime is overacted at times, and anime does the emotion pretty high, because you need to capture every frame of an animation when it comes to anime, because you need to be conveying that emotion and savoring each frame. But this was just weird, the way they were chomping down on it. It was just weird, and honestly, that's going to bring the score down just a little bit, because that decision to do it that way honestly baffled me. And on the subject of Hannes, oh my gosh, the thing I forgot was that he died. Like, I didn't think he would kill that Titan that took out Eren's mother, but oh my gosh, he died. What? He was one of my favorite characters. My favorite characters, number 1 is Erwin, number 2 is Hannes, and number 3 is Levi, okay? So Hannes is dead. I have 2 people left that I like, or 2 people that I like the most. Fourth would be John or Jean or however the hell you say his name. And then after that, I don't even know. It used to be Mikasa, but Mikasa is so annoying these days. I get that she loves Eren in not a brotherly way, in a very like kind of way, but still, Mikasa, the way you do things just annoys me. Stop being so clingy. I know it was kind of Eren's motivation in a little way, but I feel like her professing his love to him straight after Hannes died probably wasn't the best thing. I just don't think it was amazing to me. But hey, if it works, right? And on that, finding out Eren can control the Titans, well, not finding out because I read the manga, but the way they did it in the anime was really great. The way the lightning strikes as he's commanding the Titans, and he doesn't even realize it, which is kind of dumb from Eren's perspective, seeing as he shouts words of abuse at Reiner, and then randomly the Titan's just like, cool, we're gonna kill Reiner now. And it's like, Eren, how are you not piecing this together, bro? But hey, maybe that's just from the watcher's perspective that it seems obvious. The next thing I want to talk about is Erwin. And this is the exact reason I did this as a spoiler review, because there are so many delicious spoilers to talk about, and it's almost impossible to review this series without spoiling stuff, because everything you need to talk about that is a high-octane moment or, gets the series down a notch or up a notch is a spoiler, pretty much. So I have to talk about it. And let's talk about Erwin. Erwin Smith, my favorite character. And you know why he's my favorite character? Many reasons. Mostly because he's a badass and he will do whatever he can to just, destroy the Titans and get humanity its freedom back. And in this, obviously, I guess he was being like, advance, which is the thing you need to do as a commander to inspire your troops. But then he gets his arm chomped off by a Titan, getting dragged along. He shows pain. He's human. But they're like, Erwin Daichan, or however the hell you say it. And he's just like, Susame. It was just awesome. He's like, yes, I'm experiencing pain, but did I stutter? Just get over there and take out those Titans. Get Eren back, because he's the future of humanity. This season was great. The music was great, really unique. And oftentimes it was just redos of season 1 music, but like ramped up to 22, not 10, not 11, 22. So I really liked that. I liked the music a lot. High octane moments, some weird moments like I highlighted with the bread thing or ration thing or whatever the hell they ate. But it was a great season and I would love to experience it again. And I liked that they ended on the note of you know, all Titans might be sourced from humans, which I've always kind of suspected, but I like that they added it in there, because when I read it in the manga, I was like, this has to make it into season 2, right? And that is just awesome that it's in there. I love it. I love that that's the way it ended, on that big mystery, like, oh, are they right about it? And obviously, they're freaking right about it. Don't take my word on that. I'm not far enough in the manga yet to know if they actually are right about that. So yeah, all in all, I'm going to give Attack on Titan, or Shingeki no Kyojin, however you want to say it, an A. The reason for this is just everything I've said. Amazing animation, amazing voice acting, amazing music, right? It's all amazing. And the only reason it doesn't get an A+ is because of that bread scene and some other undesirable stuff, such as some little filler moments. You know, not so much filler, but the sense that the moments of like more peace or just, you know, reflection were more drawn out than in the manga. They were in the manga, so they definitely didn't make it in. Don't get me wrong, the moment when Hannes is looking back on Eren and all that stuff, that was amazing. I loved that scene, but there was other flashbacky stuff that was in the manga that drew out way too long in the anime, in my opinion. And that's why it doesn't get an A+. The fact that they have these little fillery moments, or just dragging it out too long in an already 12 episode long season. So it just seemed like common sense that they should cut it down a little bit, or just keep it as long as it was in the manga. Last thing I want to say before I sign off, guys, is I just want to say I'm tired of Yumuru, or however the hell you say her name, Yuma, Bebe, and Krista, and or known as Historia's crap. They're so self-centered with each other. It annoys me. They keep making stupid decisions that is just affecting Eren and everyone else in the worst way. And also, Krista, or Historia, has the most annoying voice ever. Not like that should change how much I like her or not, but it kind of does. I just want their crap to be over already. They're both so annoying, and I just hope they both die. I know that sounds really relentless, but I hope they both die. Anyway, guys, what did you think of Attack on Titan Season 2? You know my thoughts on it. This has been the Randy Andy Show. You know what to do, and I will see you in the next video.